Hello, and welcome to another episode of Musings on 39. Today, I'm joined by my regular hosts, Cameron, Tubbs. An interesting couple of weeks of Prem football. I thought let's kick it off with some lovely, eye-blessing football that we've seen. So, yeah, what are your guys' initial thoughts or your first thoughts?
What are you talking about? What do you mean by eye blessing football? Please elaborate there,
Well, I
Cameron.
mean, if you watched the West Ham Leicester game last night, I'm pretty sure everyone who had Antonio in their team is absolutely ecstatic.
What by
Because,
team you mean the FPL?
yeah, the FPL. Because straight after that game, I phoned Keanu and I was like, bro, I wish I had Antonio in my team. I genuinely wish I had Antonio in my team.
Dude, I wish I had Ben Rama in my team. Why
Ben
did I
Rama
put
scored
Suchek?
one, Antonio scored two, and he kissed a cardboard cutout of himself.
Ben Rama also got assist, bro.
Exactly, you got a goal and
So
an
did
assist.
Sufal.
Yeah, but
Okay, that's
we're not
nice.
talking about too far, bro. I'm
Well,
talking
I have
about
Sufal in my,
F.
fantasy. So there we
I'll
go.
give you an F right there. That's an L.
I don't know how you decided on him, but well done, bro. Well done.
Well, he's better than the United centre backs, so that's good.
At least you're not saw Tubbs' fantasy league, and his bench scored basically more than his team. So little
Tubbs,
F
who
in the
was on your
chat
bench,
for
bro? Who
F
was
in
on
the
your
chat
bench?
for
But
him.
it was Mings, Martinez, Basuma, and Keanu. Who was the last one? Oh, Michael Keane.
Peru Basuma is a regular starter, Machado.
He's a
God,
regular starter,
he's a
but like
point
in the
warrior, bro.
opening game, in the opening game, he like only scored 2 points, and I was like, okay, it's Southampton United. I'm gonna put Sancho in the squad.
Peru, he's a Liverpool protege. I'm telling you right now, you'll see Basuma at Liverpool in 2 seasons.
Oh my word, Cameron.
Yeah, I'll let Keanu be. Thank you, Keanu, for being the voice of wisdom here.
I'm telling you, when Henderson and Milner leave, we'll get Basuma.
It feels like Cameron's really had a couple of Premier League cupcake because Liverpool's all over his mind.
What do you mean we're all over my mind?
Well,
Peru,
everyone's coming to us. Everything's happening. We're gonna win everything.
are you talking about Mbappe?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
See, everyone listening to this podcast right now, mark my words, Mbappe is coming to Liverpool.
that's a bold statement,
And
bro.
and okay, so this is proof that I'm gonna save this clip. And what are we gonna do for Cameron? What's gonna be the wager? We have to have a time frame.
Oh,
You
are we
mean
having a
in the
bet? Are we having a
yeah? Let's
bet
have
now?
let's have a bet on this. Will Mbappe be at Liverpool at the end of the summer or by next summer? I rate no. He's going to Madrid.
You see, it has to come from a United supporter, you know.
Always
Just
has to
because you guys
piss
have
on everything, bro.
Sancho and whatnot, you think you're good. Varane
Bro,
and co.
bro, that's not me being a United supporter. It's logic.
So tell me, Tubbs, you follow Fabrizio. You can't deny that he has mentioned in the past, I'm not saying this week, but in the past he has said that the two teams interested in Mbappe is Real Madrid, of course, and also an unnamed English Premier League team.
Yeah, that's correct.
In your right mind, can Manchester United afford him? No.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay.
As it
We
stands now, I
we
think they would overspend if they've bought, because then Sancho obviously
But you'd
should go for.
probably breach FFP though, Tubbs, because you just spent 75 mil on Sancho.
But your question was, can United afford
Okay, so
Mbappe?
United can afford him, but the chances of him going to United are
But I've told you in the past before, I'm not really that interested in having Mbappe at United.
no, I
So
know, but I'm just saying that like as a United supporter, what are the chances of you getting Mbappe?
there's no chance.
Okay, there we go.
No, but
There we go.
I'll
Right?
I'll quicken up this process because it's taking very long. Man City can afford him. They've already spent 100 million. So if they were to buy him, it's 200 plus million. Man United have spent over 100 million. Probably, as it stands today, probably they can afford him, but
Like 160
it's
million.
not the best business deal. Who's next? Chelsea just bought Lukaku for what, 90, 89 million. Not happening.
It was 115 mil, dude.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Right?
well,
that's euro
with
though.
add-ons
That's
Yeah.
euro.
and whatever. But anyway, Spurs aren't paying that money.
Well, there's really not a lot of Premier League
But
teams
Tubbs,
that would be
if you
able.
go and look back at tweets and whatnot from your boy Fabrizio and whatnot, we've seen that Mbappe did meet with Henry, the owner of Liverpool. Mbappe supported Liverpool as a child.
Debatable.
Mbappe is sponsored by Nike. Liverpool is sponsored by Nike. If you are Mbappe and looking at the way Klopp manages and plays the game, why wouldn't you want to move to Liverpool there?
I personally think this is my opinion, and then we'll get some Premier League chat in here. My opinion is I don't think Mbappe moves anywhere this summer. I think that the opportunity to play with Messi, I
Oof.
think for any human is probably hard to pass by.
But that's provided you make the starting lineup, though, bro.
No, he will. He will. I think he is.
They're desperate to keep him in the team, so they will keep him
I
happy.
think
So he will always be
yes,
starting
he will.
whenever.
He will be playing games. I think PSG are running a problem where you're either going to lose him for free in a similar situation with Messi, just what just happened, or they need to cash in now. So I think he's going to stick it out, and I can see him going for free.
Okay, Keanu, but then hit me up here. What is the most likely team to sign Mbappe?
Probably Madrid. However, if someone in the Prem is to sign him, I do think we are favourites. So I would say we're the dark horse, but a very dangerous horse.
Okay, that's fine. But we still okay, cool. By the way, Keanu, we haven't established what is the wager on for Cameron if Mbappe doesn't sign for Liverpool.
I'll shave my beard.
No, that's weak. That's weak.
Shave your
How
head
about how?
and your
Nah,
beard
just
and
just
post it on our Insta.
Nah, not the cop, but
nah. Head is a bit far. Let's go for a underarm wax.
a wax.
Underarm wax. Yeah.
Nah, but I'll shave my
Leg
beard.
wax, leg wax.
Nah. Leave the legs. Let's do underarm, bro, because it's not visible. It's gonna hurt, but then it's over.
It's like a man talking from experience.
I have waxed it before.
Yeah,
Not
no,
not
man.
not because I wanted to, but there was a similar situation to what we now.
Tubbs, have you waxed your underarms before?
No, I haven't got my underarms waxed.
It's painful, bro. Well, I found the underarm.
That's why I say just clip the beard, Chana.
Anyway, we'll think of something to hit Cameron with, but
Yeah, hold on. I want to ask you guys, I'll start off the structure of this actual episode. Who or what team has impressed you guys the most in the past 2 weeks? Any highlights that you guys want to point out, and we'll quickly go through that, and then we'll probably go to the most controversial, entertaining topic.
I think, Keanu, your first question was who has impressed me the
Yeah,
most in the
like
past
team
week.
wise. It can let's say big six club, and probably one of the.
Well, first things first, I think Arsenal need to get out of their head that they are no longer a top six club. Same with Tottenham. And I'd like to say the team that's impressed me the most is West Ham. I think they have a nice balance. I mean, if you look at their midfield, you have Rice, you have Suchek. Going more forward, you have. I mean, they also have Fornals. Then they also have Ben Rama, Antonio, Bowen. You know, they have a good core. I didn't expect them to score four against Leicester either. So I'd have to go with West Ham as being the team that's impressed me the most.
I'm gonna say Aston Villa thus far. They've managed to they managed to maintain the momentum that they've had at the during the past season. and I've just enjoyed being able to see what inclusion that Danny Ings has brought to the team. A solid striker that they really needed. I'm also excited to see prospects such as Leon Bailey, see what he's capable of doing in the Premier League. But you can't deny that they are really missing Grealish.
That's quite a strange choice, especially after they lost to promoted Watford. But fair enough. I think Ings has been a shining light in that team. To answer my own question now, I think from the last year's top four, I think Chelsea looked dangerous. I'm impressed with Liverpool just doing a job and just cool, done, nothing really too complicated, unlike other teams. And then the team that's probably impressed me the most, funnily enough, is between Tottenham and Brighton, because Tottenham might not have played the most attractive football, but they've got a job done. They've got two clean sheets under their belts, and Brighton came back against Burnley from being 1-0 down and then beat them. And then this week they comprehensively beat Watford, hardly broke a sweat. So I think I was quite impressed with them because I thought they would struggle this season. So yeah, those are my two teams of that's impressed me.
Some solid answers there. I'd say the past two game weeks have been quite rather interesting, if you ask me. It was good to see Chelsea come back as dominating as ever. I kind of feel bad though now seeing that Timo Werner has now, you know, it, it's sad to see, but Romelu Lukaku has come back after I think it's 10 years away from Chelsea, and he finally gets his goal. Um, you love to see Big Rom finally going back to his boyhood team, but I kind of feel bad about Timo Werner at this moment.
Uh, Look, again, I've always been a Lukaku fan. I even felt personally displeased with United fans ignoring his quality and having things to say about him, and he's just proven everyone wrong once again. So you know what? For his personal achievements, I wish him the best. Chaps, I think there's an elephant in the room, and it's the team we've left out, luckily, in this chat. Arsenal. What on earth is going on there, bros? Like, what's cracking?
Are you guys Arteta out?
No.
Are you saying it for the bands, or are you saying it because you really believe?
No, I'm being honest because I mean, let's go back about 8 odd years. What are we now? 2021, so 2013 or so. At that point in time, correct me if I'm wrong, chaps. At Arsenal, you had Özil in his prime, Ramsey, Wilshere. You were on the brink of signing Aubameyang.
No, I think you've gone a little bit too far back, bro.
No, 2013. They were still playing Champions
No,
League,
but I don't think they were signing Aubameyang and co.
but they had Sanchez, they had Özil, they had Ramsey, they had Wilshere, they had Cazorla, they had Bellerin. No, but under Wenger's leadership, I also think that they missed something along the way. And you know the saying, too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. And I think that's what happened with Arsenal. And, you know, credit to the man. You know, he managed a team through thick and thin. And for 20 years straight, he got Arsenal into the Champions League on a minimal budget and whatnot, moving stadiums and all. But I think maybe he held on the reins for 2 years too long. Could you have imagined let's just use Arteta for all time's sake. Imagine if Arteta came 2 years before Wenger stepped down and he would have taken a young team and they could have grown together. Where now they're taking a mature team and trying to mix and change them a bit to suit a certain ethos and to suit a certain game plan. It just doesn't seem to be working at the moment. And I feel bad for Arteta because I don't think there's much more he can do or any other manager could do. Because what would Conte do different? What would Zidane do different? What would Eddie Howe do different? What would, Brendan Rodgers, I see, is now linked. What would he do different? But I think the problems that Arsenal have go way beyond the manager. I think they go all the way up to the board.
I let's start on the weekend or the first match week against Brentford. I really couldn't believe
Flop, Ben White, flop.
Ben White. Fine, I'm not gonna look. He's played one game, so let me not slate him as yet.
He's a solid player. He was a solid player at Brighton, but the big issue now is that the price tag. It's the British tax that has now, it has put a little. It besmirched his name in a sense, if you understand what I
How
mean.
much would you pay for Ben White, Tubbs?
30. 30
Pound
mil
or
was
euro?
30 million Great British pounds. That's a fair price for Ben White. I feel that Ben White is still a work in progress. He is not the finished article. He can be one of the best centre backs in England. However, the price tag he was transferred for was just it was ridiculous. I mean, now it now goes, it boils back then to like how United paid 80 million for Maguire. Maguire is he was a established centre back for Leicester, regular starter, and he was, I think he was 26, 27 of years of age. So he has some experience behind him. Meanwhile, Ben White was just a name that people were starting to notice last season. And I feel that, the blame has to be put on him on that second goal that Brentford scored on the weekend. He had to be better there. He had to watch his man. I was watching that goal back a couple of times and I just saw him just stand there. That can't be done. A long throw comes in, you have to be always alert of the situation around you. It's really unforgivable, but I hope I wish him well at Arsenal, but it's kind of now soured.
I'm gonna. This is okay. So match week one, they lose to Brentford. Piss poor performance.
Smith Rowe had one of his best performances for the
Personal,
season
personal.
so far. He's had one of his best. Yeah, out of all the players on that field, if I had to sign one player out of them all, it would have been Smith Rowe.
And he nearly left to West Ham. Not West Ham,
Oh
Aston
yeah,
Villa
they were wanting
earlier
to
in
get
the
him on
season.
loan. Then we moved to match week two, which it's difficult opposition. And you know what? They got slapped around. Obviously watching the game.
They had some decent attacks going forward. I mean, they did look at times they did look threatening, but there was too much backpedaling. They managed to get the ball towards the final third, but then they just unsure what to do.
It's
Back
bad. There's no
pass,
folk. Dude,
back
this is
pass.
this is where it's coming down to, and this is where we will get to as soon as we continue the chat. But like, I think they got battered. They got slapped around like school children playing against men. Tactically, they were found out. They were getting destroyed by Reece James and Alonso. Tierney was not his fault, but he didn't know what to do. He didn't know yet if he had to defend, if he had to go forward, if he had to stick. And then the biggest question I had, or that comes to mind with Arsenal, is can any other manager do anything more? Because, like, I felt personally that the tactics was very poor from Arteta on like in the Chelsea game. And then I'm wondering to myself, but to be honest, in his defense, the team, like, bro, if I had to look at this Arsenal team, I'm quite shocked to see the quality they possess. It's disappointing even, and I understand why Arsenal fans are fed up and they can't do anything because they're spending big bucks. And my word, so I wonder,
I tell you, man had Aubameyang on the bench.
yeah, but apparently he's recovering from
Man can't be
COVID
doing
or
that, blood.
whatever is wrong with him now. Um,
They are so far behind. I mean, it's a young team. It's a young squad. Um, they've had some problems lately with players such as Lacazette not performing well, and Aubameyang as well not performing well. They have Hector
He
Bellerin,
wants
who's
to
also
leave, bro.
still unsettled. Exactly, and a lot of people are pointing fingers at Arteta. Why are they all looking at Arteta and hoping that he's the issue? I mean, we saw it last season with all the protests because of the Super League. We have to look. We all have to still carry on looking up. People when Arteta signed up for Arsenal, they're all saying, "Oh, he's a much better coach than
And Emery.
Solskjaer." Now, why is Solskjaer still being slated? When he's been getting Champions League concurrently recently, while Arsenal keep getting eighth place in the last two seasons.
Yeah, yo, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. So you're thinking it's the players and not it's not Arteta. He can't do anything more than he's doing. Is that your answer?
I think they're a very talented team. Arteta's doing what he can with them, but there's a lot of behind the scenes issues that no one knows what to do, how to solve it. I think there's a lot of dissatisfaction in some players like Willian, who's close to the door, Bellerin, and we still don't know what's going on with Aubameyang. We still don't know what's going on with Lacazette.
I mean, it is what it is, though. Typical Arsenal being Arsenal. You let go of your talisman in the likes of Ozil. I know his end to Arsenal wasn't positive, but I mean, still, you had him on what, 310k a week to do nothing.
You know what's a very interesting thing? I saw someone give an opinion. I cannot remember now, is but the problem Arsenal also are facing is that the players they have that they want to sell, the likes of Bellerin, at the time Xhaka, Willian, the way they treat them before selling them, and what Cameron said now about Özil, you can't freeze out players, not let them play, not do anything because all you're doing is depreciating their value. Because now, if you look at like someone like Willian,
He's going on a free to Corinthians, from what I've heard from Romano.
he's been poor, let's be fair, but he's been treated horrendously by fans. He's been getting, I promise you, I don't think I've heard anyone more hated than Willian. And I think he's actually not a bad footballer, he's probably just not thriving.
Pogba's hate. I rate Pogba's more hated than William.
Dude, it's like it will come to my following question. I want to hear Cameron's thoughts quickly or on the situation or more in-depth look. But it's just they not getting if they want to get some funds from players that they don't want at the club. There's no point freezing them out, making them sit on the sidelines, paying their wages, and all you're doing is making them look like shit, and then you have to sell them, which is probably like it's not a very smart business move from them because the likes of Bellerin, what's he doing? Sitting on the bench or sitting in the stands, not playing because they don't want him in the team. Arsenal fans hate him or slate him. So I think that's a dumb move, firstly. And then I don't know. I personally think I was in a position where I thought, you know what, the players are not good enough. Fine, I understand Arteta, but after re-evaluating the Saturday game, I think Arteta's tactics were piss poor.
You mean the Sunday game?
Sunday, apologies. Sunday game against Chelsea, I think he missed it and it was poor. It was poor, poor, poor. Chelsea could have won 6-0. Easy. But let me hear, Cameron, thoughts. What you think is going wrong and if you think it's the players or Arteta.
I think the current issue with Arsenal didn't start now. I think it's a like for like situation with United and Ferguson. Arsene, I love him to bits. I don't think any other manager in the modern day era, with the squad that he had, could finish top four consecutively for 20 seasons in a row. But I think maybe Arsene held on for too long. And what happened was is that you had this group of prospective Arsenal players get older and older with Arsenal, and they brought in Emery. And what happened was is that Emery had to redo the whole squad because half the people who were there left because they were old and whatnot. Then when the plan with Emery didn't work out, then the same thing happened to Arteta. Old players left. Ramsey went to Juventus on free and whatnot. And Arteta had to literally build from the bottom up. So I do think part of it has to deal with transfer business and whatnot. But at the same time, what's attracting big players to your club? Nowadays, it's all about European football. We've just seen Danny Ings in the past season go from Southampton to Villa. The only reason he did that is because he thinks Villa, number one, are going to finish higher than Southampton. And number two, the chances of Villa getting into European spots are a lot higher than Southampton. So I do think that it is a transfer business issue. We know that the Cronkies are stubborn and that they'll never admit that they are wrong. So, yeah, I think that's half of Arsenal's problem. Look, having 9 injuries doesn't help at all. But yeah, at the end of the day, Chelsea were above and beyond them, and I think that it's a long, long road back to the previous honours of Arsenal Football Club, even with Arteta at the helm. I think it's going to take a long time to grow that identity again. I think it's going to take a long time to put trust in a manager, whether it's Arteta or somebody else, to grow the club again. So yeah, if I am an Arsenal fan, I'm not expecting anything in the next 6 years.
So Arteta to rebuild the situation, or
I think so, Tubbs. I think so. I think he does want to. But I think at the same time, he also himself needs to acknowledge that I don't agree with his tactics. I don't agree with him playing people out of position. But at the same time, when you lose Thomas Partey in a preseason game and now Ben White to COVID, what more can you do?
did man really have COVID because he knew he was going to face Lukaku?
Look, I wouldn't want to play against Lukaku myself, but at the same time, that's part and parcel of being a Premier League footballer. If we look at the Arsenal team on paper, if we look at, in my opinion, the best Arsenal team, if we play a 4-2-3-1, which they normally play, if you play 4 at the back, you're going to have Leno in goal. Right back, I'd put Bellerin. The 2 centre-backs would be Gabriel and White. Left back, Tierney. Then you'll probably have Thomas Partey in the midfield.
Xhaka.
Alongside Chaka. Then your 3 are probably going to be, in my opinion, probably going to be Saka, Pepe, and Smith Rowe. And potentially you'll play a Aubameyang or Martinelli up front. I think Lacazette hasn't proven enough in preseason and last season to have a starting position, but then again, maybe you'll replace him with Smith Rowe. But I think you got to give the young guns a chance as well. But when you have 9 injuries, what more can you do? Last season, nobody chose to give Liverpool a break when we had our best players out. Everyone said, well, that's part of being in the Premier League. So, why should we give mercy towards Tottenham now that they have 9 players out?
Arsenal, you mean?
Oh, sorry, Arsenal. Yeah, that's a completely different story. Apologies. So, at the end of the day, Tubbs and Keanu, I think that Tottenham need to do what United did, and you need to acknowledge it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time.
Acknowledge.
Tottenham?
Dude, you said Tottenham.
Sorry, Tottenham, but Tottenham also needs to acknowledge.
Is there something you wanna say about Tottenham?
Sorry, I'm getting my London clubs mixed up. Arsenal need to acknowledge that it's going to take a long time, the same way it took United. United brought in Moyes, then United brought in Van Gaal, then they brought in Mourinho. It didn't work, as Gary Neville said last night. It didn't work. So they went with Oli, which they've been with since 2018, I think, Tubbs. So they need to trust there. The same, sorry for putting it in. The same goes for Tottenham.
Oh.
Same goes for Tottenham. Tottenham have the same issues, but
I
that's a
think they're in a
different
better boat,
conversation.
bro.
But
I
Arsenal,
think they're in a way better boat.
uh,
If they
look,
keep Kane,
don't want to touch too much
yeah,
on
let's not
them.
get into it.
Don't
But I'm
want to
saying if
touch too
they
much on
keep
them.
Kane,
But if they keep Kane, they are in a better situation than
Miles,
Arsenal. But I think Arsenal, in terms of their youth, have a lot more to give than what Tottenham do. But Arsenal, I think it sucks. And Tubbs, you are a United supporter. You can advocate for Arsenal fans. It wasn't easy during the Moyes Van Gaal period. It wasn't easy. Even
It was entertaining during Van Gaal.
oh yeah, like when he lay on the ground against Arsenal. Correct me
Well,
if I'm
not
wrong.
just that,
And there was a
but
foul or whatnot. But it wasn't easy. Even under Mourinho, when you as a fan are hearing your manager say that the one of the greatest achievements of his life is finishing second. Like that's a hard pill to swallow. Um, so long story short, it's going to be a long road back to glory for Arsenal if they ever reach that again.
do you think it is fair? We don't know what the result is yet against Man City, but they really did get the short end of the stick to start off the season because you would
I disagree
no,
with
bro.
you.
I think you assume they'll get 3 points against
Three
promoted
against
Brentford.
Brentford. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Chelsea, okay. Well, if Big Rom didn't sign,
Luck of the
I
draw.
think
No, but also luck of the draw. I think if we look at history, and Tubbs, I know you like your history, but if we look at Arsenal versus Chelsea, Arsenal will be horrific during the season, but come playing Chelsea, they'll be a completely different team. Look at last season. Chaka was being outcasted by Arsenal fans. He comes and he plays against Chelsea and he scores a banger of a free kick from outside the box. Do you know what I'm saying? Arsenal will be absolutely horse for majority of the season. But come Chelsea, they'll pitch up. So I think that some fans would have, been hoping for an improved performance against Chelsea, which
I
we
do,
didn't see.
however, think that it's a different Chelsea animal we're seeing now. So I can't.
Yes
No,
and
I
no.
think I think
Yes
so, bro. I
and no.
really think it's a Champions League winning team. They've gone and strengthened it.
Against the blind.
No, I'm not saying. Look, I'm saying you can't really expect. I expected nothing from Arsenal.
No, of course. But if you're gonna come and say that Chelsea that Chelsea are a threat, um Tubbs, please don't tease me for this. But I think United are a bigger threat than Chelsea. Genuine.
Nah, nah.
Elaborate though.
I think that Chelsea, they brought in Big Rom. I think he is going to score a couple of goals, but I don't think that he's the final piece to their puzzle. I still think that Chelsea will struggle if you press them a lot. If you put pressure on that midfield, I think anyone can get through. They haven't got a solidified defense. They chop and change by week. I think Rudiger is an absolute talent. Reece James is good, but I still think that there are gaps where teams can capitalize. When I look at United, I see a hungry young team. That's why I'd say that I think that they are a bigger threat. You have the likes of Sancho, who came agonizingly close to Euro glory. You have Rashford coming back from injury soon. You have Greenwood in probably the form of his life. You have Cavani waiting
He's
there.
still very young for you to be saying form of his life. There's still a lot more to come from him.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that have you seen Greenwood play better than what he's playing now?
Nah.
Well, he's man's only 19.
No, yes, but I'm saying at the current minute, we haven't seen him play better than what he's playing now. Bruno, this is a big season for him. You don't just start off the first game of the season against Leeds with a hat trick for fun. The same goes for Pogba, probably the last season that he plays for United, depending on contract negotiations. Shaw is arguably in the form of his life, post Euros and whatnot. You just signed Varane. You have Maguire, aka Slabhead, at the back. You have, Wan-Bissaka, and then it's whether you choose De Gea or Henderson, which has, a little bit of a gamble for
Nah,
Solskjaer.
bro.
But I think you guys want it
No
more.
cap.
I genuinely think you guys want it more.
Well, we do. Well, we are aiming to win a trophy this season, in my opinion.
With all due respect, I don't think it's going to be Champions League,
I'm not saying it's going to be Champions
but
League,
but
but
I
I'm just.
do think you guys are going to cause a domestic threat. Genuine. I really, really do, because I think Sancho adds a different dynamic. And I think if you guys are clever, you guys would also throw yourselves into the Kane game.
I agree with that. My opinion, I think it's the same pro. This is how I spoke to Tubbs in I think Saturday after United drew against Southampton, and I told him I can't understand how United go and thrash Leeds, entertaining football. Then they go play Southampton. Cool, they might play, as we discussed, a low block, a more defensive way of lining up. You change your starting lineup. You put Martial in, who's ice cold. You move Greenwood right. You put Pogba same position. You take out McTominay, who I think was one of the best players against Leeds. You put in Matic. Then I'm looking at the situation. I even messaged him when the teams came out. I was like, bro, what team is this? I don't understand how you beat someone and then you go make changes. Look, make changes if the first half is like you're saying, okay, my plan went to shit. Change the team. But to go in and reshape James on the bench,
Yeah,
why?
I agree. I have a question for Tubbs on this topic. And Tubbs, I'm not sure on our WhatsApp group if you saw the tweet that Keanu put on today.
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
For our viewers, it was a tweet from Sky Sports about Monday Night Football, a conversation between Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville. And Tubbs, do you think that what's preventing United from glory is more a managerial perspective rather than a squad and transfer perspective?
We've consistently came in the. Consistently ended up in the top four.
But is top four a success for Manchester United?
It is not the ambition. It is not. It is not the goal. However, it is something that we've had to before you can actually aim. Before you can actually get to winning the trophy, you have to build consistency first. It's like with a new recipe in a kitchen. It's like when you have a new cake that you want to bake. You can't expect it to be perfect on your first attempt.
Yes, I understand that though, Tubbs. But this is modern day football though. This is modern day football. You don't have time to perfect the process of baking a cake. If we look at you guys are Manchester United Football Club. You guys haven't won the Premier League in what, nearly 10 years now?
Look, United lost Sir Alex Ferguson. He retired.
Agreed.
It's inevitable. Everyone will quit. Will leave their jobs one day.
He also left you with a dying team.
It wasn't dying. It was just a team that was not refreshed in a long time. It was a team that worked for Sir Alex. It was a team that he understood and he knew the intricacies.
Do you think that he maybe should have left you with more of a plan to go forward? Or do you think he was right to kind of, you know what, this is what's worked for me, I'm going to leave it there, let David Moyes come in and make what he can from what I've left?
Well, the question is, was it his intention to just leave it as that?
I don't know. I'm not a United fan. I can't comment on that.
I also can't comment on that because I don't know what the plan is from the hierarchy at United.
Yeah. Also considering you guys had Ed Woodward, and your transfer business has been far more positive since his departure earlier this year.
Well, he's still there. He's just taken a step back from his involvement. However, you had David Moyes walking into that team. He wanted to bring in players. There are rumors that he wasn't allowed to bring in certain players or certain signings that he wanted. What happened? United ended seventh that season, no Champions League football. They sacked him. They brought in Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal had a decent first season. He ended up in the top four, which was the goal for because of course when you bring in a new manager, you want to see what they can do. You want to see what they can bring in, but you've heard it from you heard some rumors from Moyes' era. You heard it from Van Gaal himself, and you heard it from Mourinho. There were signings that they wanted to make that were blocked off for them. Now we come to Oli.
Can I ask a question then? Why would you give Oli what he wants, but you wouldn't give Mourinho, Van Gaal, or Moyes what he wants?
I can't answer that because again, I'm not the hierarchy.
No, but based as a supporter.
As Gary Neville said, it failed. So they had to restructure. They had to
But
go
but
back to
question,
the.
but question, if you gave Mourinho the transfers that he wanted, for example, he asked for centre backs. After he left, Solskjaer gets Maguire. Do you think he would have won the league?
He would have won the league.
So then
indeed.
now, as a United fan, how do you feel that you could have won the league, provided your board gave Mourinho the transfers he wanted?
It's irrelevant now because that was the past, and now I'm here with
All right.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as my manager. He's gotten some signings that he's wanted. He's still stuck with players that, for some reason, we can't sell, which is completely confusing to me.
Understood.
But he has started, from the beginning, you have to give someone time. You can't say that, like I said, mentioned earlier, like a cake. You have to perfect that recipe before you can. You have to get to know that cake, every intricacy before you can build the perfect cake.
All right
And
then.
that's what's going on at United, foundation by foundation, and we're slowly and by ending up in Champions League every season has shown that Oli has the capabilities, and now it's just about him being able to put in those final touches and pushing a little bit further. That's my stance on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment. He's gotten the backing of the board somehow that the other managers were not able to
All
get.
right then. No, I understand that, and I respect that. I'd just like
I
to
can answer
hear
this.
Keanu's perspective quickly.
What do
Yeah.
you want to answer, Keanu?
So the first question was that should Alex Ferguson or did he know he's going to leave a dying team to the next guy? I think, I don't think he did it on purpose, but I think no matter who walked in after him, it was basically mission impossible. And I personally think the reason United's board and their owners became complacent with not giving managers what they want is because Sir Alex could get everything out of players than what the new managers could. And I think that's the problem with Moyes, Mourinho, and Van Gaal. Because if I think of my time watching Man United, Sir Alex would make 1 to 2 transfers a season, and it would be marquee signings or even someone's not even marquee. Like the first player that jumps to my mind is Van Persie, world class striker. Man United doing well. They've got Rooney. They've got, I think Nani was still there. They're doing brilliantly. They bring in Van Persie. They're elevated to the next level. One signing. And what they spend a couple of million. So every time Sir Alex asks, "Can I have players?" They're like, "Okay, cool. Here's a couple of million." He buys 1, 2 players, not of big money, and he gets a job done. Where Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes wanted money to sign big names, and they said no, sign one player, fix the team, and then they try their little Fellaini's and their Martials
Fred.
and whatever, and here we are today. So that's where I think it's gone wrong. But yeah, let me not
But
get.
but but
I don't want
here
to
but
even talk
here
about
to
it.
bring it back to the core of the conversation, which originally I know I mentioned Tottenham briefly. I do apologize, but Arsenal. What is the difference between Arteta and Solskjaer? Surely Arteta deserves time with this team to grow and see what he wants, what he doesn't want,
Bro.
to then grow and move forward. Because Solskjaer went through the same dips. Arguably, Solskjaer had a higher of a rise, especially after his interim period. But if you're going to give a manager like Solskjaer chance after chance, surely you have to give Arteta chance after chance.
Well, one thing I can just give you right there, Özil completely left out.
But that wasn't Arteta. That was the board.
And
No,
Exactly.
you
it was
see, and
politically
you see that
motivated.
that is the issue as well behind Arsenal. It's the board.
Would you say if you were an Arsenal supporter, Tubbs, would you say Kroenke's out?
Well, they've been saying it. They've been saying it for so long, but now all the blame is shifted towards back towards Arteta. You know, they had like when United were constantly, like when the fans were constantly protesting, getting when they got onto the pitch and managed to stop that Liverpool match. I feel that the United board had to admit to their faults, where I feel that the Arsenal board have not gotten to that point.
Do you also think that Arsenal supporters are also to blame to a certain degree?
Yes, they are because they had a manager who was getting them consistently into top four in
You're
Arsenal
talking
Wenger.
about Wenger. Okay, cool.
I'm talking about Wenger, and he didn't leave his job on his own will. That he was forced out basically. Emery, they finally got in Emery, someone new, someone that they thought would do something different, and he didn't because he basically had the Moyes problem. He had a team that was an aged team that he had to rebuild. What happened? Arsenal supporters unhappy, sacked. Freddie Lumber came in as an interim. He was stuck with the same aging team that had a few tweaks to it. Now Arteta's there. They're in the middle of that process, and it's either they continue losing managers, or they have to be patient with one
But do you
person and
agree? But do you agree with my previous statement that Arsenal fans need to buckle up for a ride and be patient for
absolutely,
the next
absolutely. I
6
mean, like
years?
like you said, 10 years for United.
Yeah,
For Arsenal, it's going to be longer. I mean, I don't want to speak badly of Arsene Wenger. He's a true legend, but Arsenal really need to. Arsenal supporters really have to get ready because this ride is not over yet. They can get in Conte. They can get in Eddie
Alleg-
Howe. I mean,
yeah, not
they
Allegri. Yeah,
if Pep's contract runs out and they for somehow they manage to land Pep at Arsenal, it's going to. There's a much bigger job. There's a much bigger job that has to be done at that team.
agreed. Do you think, as a football fan, are Arsenal in danger of relegation this season?
I don't think they're in danger of relegation. I think they'll end in the in the second in the second half of the table. I think they'll
So the
have their
top
low.
half of the table.
No, no, the bottom half. I think they'll
Okay,
have their
cool.
no,
Oh
I
my
literally
god.
think they'll have their worst run.
Tubbs, you're gonna make troops angry, bro.
It's. I don't want to make anyone angry, but it's just my observations. As a fan, I'm seeing frailties in that defense, and I'm seeing indecisive attacking indecisiveness in the attack.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Keanu, where do you think Arsenal finishes?
Sure. Dude,
They'll end
yo,
12th.
what a question.
Okay, Tubbs says 12th. Where do you think?
I think if they bottom half of the table,
So you're
Arteta's
right. If
gone.
they lose to City,
Because
Arteta's gone.
no, I won't say City. I say 3 games after Man City. If they've not
Scored
at
one. They haven't
least
even
got
scored a single
7
goal.
points.
Fred has scored more goals than Arsenal.
That is embarrassing.
If they have not scored, if they are not on 7 points after 3 games after the Man City match, Arteta's gone. Because you cannot. I'm sorry, bro. It's Arsenal. True, they've fallen off. They're probably not as big as a club as they were. They're going through a transition period. Fine, but it's Arsenal. They cannot be relegation zone after 5 games. I'm sorry, he's gone. I don't care.
I
I
just want to interrupt you for
want to
one
believe
second.
him.
They go Champions League Varan. It's gonna be relegation Ben White.
But seriously, chaps, though,
I
like
could make a cricket noise.
I think here's not
Oh.
to go on a tangent, but to ask an interesting question for our viewers is that in modern football we seem to come across time and time again, like you said, Tubbs. After Sir Alex left, it was never the players' fault. It was Moyes. Then it was Van Gaal. Then it was Mourinho. Since Wenger's left, it was Emery. Then it was Lundberg. Then it was Arteta now. Do you perhaps think that managers are getting more of the flack than what the players should be getting? Because at the end of the day, the manager can put out a decent team, but the players just don't come to the party. I watched that Brentford game, and Arsenal, not the manager, the players, got bullied. They got messed around. Heck, there's even an Arsenal fan that put out a TikTok that people should start an anti-bullying campaign for Pablo Mari after he got manhandled by Lukaku. That is not a managerial problem.
And that's why Ben White tested positive for COVID. Man knew he had to face against
Bro.
Lukaku, so he literally went to go lick some toilet seats.
All right.
Satire.
Jokes aside.
Satire.
That-
I agree with you. But jokes aside, right? Jokes aside.
No, wait, I want a
Yes.
better wait. That same God Cameron speaking about the guy says Arsenal have as much as identity as John Cena. You can't see me.
Okay, the bloke was
That line made my
understandably
ear, bro.
unhappy, right? But what I'm saying is that we keep always seeing in the news or football news, next manager to be sacked, most likely Arteta and whatnot. But has he genuinely done anything to deserve to be sacked when the players on the pitch... No, but
Yes.
Keone, listen to me. When the players on the pitch are not producing. Because what they're going to do, they're going to sack Arteta, who they're going to bring in.
They'll force Conte, and then he'll be exposed.
You think Conte's going to join? Arsenal.
He didn't even
He,
want
he
to
has
take
his
the Tottenham.
he has his allegiances to Chelsea after winning them the league. So now,
So what I'm trying to say is that, like, Aubameyang, what's stopping him from performing? I know he had COVID and whatnot, but what's stopping him from performing?
Playing.
Even last season, what stopped him from performing? What's stopping Lacazette from
Oh,
performing?
bro, it's difficult to score goals when no one's giving you opportunities. You can't do everything
How
yourself.
many times are you going to
You
give a
can
guy an
finish the
opportunity?
chances.
Again, I go back to the point. I also think that Arsenal lack leadership. They lack leadership.
boys, I just currently checked the time, and I think, and I'd like to just maybe move into one last little.
Understood.
Little segment here. Let's look at game weekend number 3, and let's give our predictions on it.
Oh, crisis, Tubbs. You really want to crucify Arsenal
I want
tonight,
to.
eh?
After this, I've another big question.
Okay,
It's a
cool.
biggie.
Man City Arsenal, first game of the weekend.
4-0 City.
4-0 City as well. Yeah, Arsenal's gonna get bullied again. They'll probably go 5 at the back, but they're going to get exposed once again.
The thing is that Arsenal don't have a functioning midfield. That's their biggest issue.
Hear me out. If they get thumped, like I'm talking 5, I think Arteta's
You think
gone.
he's gone, eh? During international break.
Because I think it would be such an
Where are they
embarrassment
playing? At
to get
the Etihad.
absolutely
Playing at the Etihad.
Oh, the Etihad.
Emirates.
The Etihad.
Empty it. All right. I'm just saying if you get pumped by Chelsea, beaten by Brentford, and pumped by City,
But-
my gosh, you might as well start
But
packing
but
his
you know
bag.
they might have Odegaard starting because he's now a player for Arsenal. But they still have Bellerin out. They still have. I mean, maybe Lacazette will be fit. You know, Ben White. I think it's 10 days, right? It's 10 days
Yeah.
around the UK, but we don't know when, so he might still be out. I just don't see how that defense of holding Mari, Tierney, Suarez. I don't see how they're gonna keep out Grealish, Sterling,
Sterling,
Ferran
Mares,
Torres, Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, the team without a striker is gonna actually pump Arsenal. So yeah, sad times for
Okay,
Arsenal
next
fans.
prediction.
All right. What's the
Okay.
next game?
Now Arsenal in the mud, bro. In trouble. Playing
Liverpool Chelsea.
Liverpool 3-1.
Oh
I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna say a 2-2 draw.
Not gonna lie, that was also what I'm thinking, but I gotta probably back my team, so I'm gonna go.
I think, yes, we have the big problem of Lukaku. But we have Virgil. And we have Matip. And we've seen in the past, Matip has not been shy to get physical. I also think that we're going to play a little bit more of a compact midfield. We'll probably see Henderson, Fabinho, maybe Thiago starting. Maybe we'll play
Kate.
Firmino or Keita. And then play Yota Salamane up front. Um,
I think Yota doesn't play, bro.
well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, we'll see. It's potentially a top of the table, sorry, clash, and I think it's going to be an exciting game for all. I think Liverpool win by that big of a margin because I think if we run at Chelsea, I think that's their frailty. If you put their centre backs under pressure, if you put their wing backs under pressure, I think you can get the ball off them, and that's when we're in business.
I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think this is a very out there prediction. I'm saying Liverpool win 2-1 and we score a free kick.
So you're saying Trent scores?
All right, and
Yeah.
then United Wolves.
United.
Not to
United.
disrespect any other of the teams on the Premier League log, but we're just going for the three biggest games of the weekend.
I say United because I think United need to prove something. They made a big statement on the opening day, 5-1 against Leeds. They didn't live up to expectation in the second game with a 1-1 draw with Southampton. So I think they have to re-announce themselves as challengers in the next game against Wolves. If they don't, well, then some people may look at United and be like, oh, well, it's same old, same old. So that's why I'll go for probably also 1-0. No, 3-1 win for United, sorry.
Yeah, I agree there, 3-1. I think last season when we played them at the last game of the when we played them on the last game of the season, we won a 2-1 with our B team, with Anthony Elanga and Juan Mata scoring the only two goals from United. So I do think that we'll be able to win it because we are going to be playing a stronger team. I do think that Jadon Sancho is going to get a start. I think it's going to be Greenwood and Sancho and then Martial on the bench, or it could be even Cavani because Cavani might be match fit. He's done with his quarantine, so let's see what happens there.
So the question I was so eager to ask for you chaps. I want to hear in your opinion, right? Do you feel like the social media and the Arsenal fan TV and Troops thing is toxic towards Arsenal? Because I'm seeing like, look, I laugh at all the videos. It's entertaining. It's probably part of the fan community to make like reactions and speak
I
about
and
your
I
team.
understand your question, and can I answer that quickly? I'm sorry for interrupting you, man, but I think that it's not entire. I think that it's not entirely toxicity. I think it's passionate fans, and they're showing their passion to the world. So like, I think it's something that the owners, the players, and even Arteta need to take note of because what's going on that pitch is making those fans unhappy, and unhappiness leads to toxic behaviors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think the Arsenal fans are within their right to voice their opinions.
Cameron?
Look, I think I've a great amount of respect for Robbie, Troops, DT.
We don't even just single them out,
No,
but
no, no. But
I
they are
just
the main
like
ones.
I think
But
they're
they are
the
the
most
main one. Yeah.
famous like fan
I
channel.
do think that it's hard for Arsenal fans though. It's hard seeing your team go from what it was to what it is now. And that's where I brought up the Wenger thing earlier. Maybe if Wenger had have left a season or two before, a manager like Emery, potentially maybe even Arteta or whatnot, could have come in and got given a squad that still had potential. It wasn't at the end of its days, but it's
But
it's
that's
it's
also a
definitely
bit.
hard. It definitely is hard because um, I can think back to times when, as Liverpool fan, we were managed by Dalglish, Roy Hodgson,
Royalton.
and those were dark times. We had to live through that, and we genuinely had to take a good 6 years and literally be content with mediocrity. One season, maybe we'll finish in Europe. The next season, maybe we won't. But it takes time. But I do think that social media does put unbelievable amounts of pressure on managers and players. But that's part of the world we live in. I mean, football clubs make a living off social media. I mean, how many followers does Arsenal have on Instagram? Like 14 million? And if they tell me that they're not making cash off of those 14 million or whatever it is, um, people who follow them, well, then they're lying. So it's the financial game as well. But I do think that it does put pressure on. But I also think that that's a pressure that players and managers have to become accustomed to.
Dude, I think it's difficult, bro, because I personally don't think those fans understand the agenda they're pushing. Because obviously, we all know all the various fan TVs and what's it, Mark Goldbridge, if I'm right, Tubbs, the United man.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Redmen TV, you got everyone's got a fan page, but if you have to single one out that's probably most famous is Arsenal, probably because they say controversial things and they're funny and you like to watch it.
Yeah.
But I just like as you said, I have mad respect for them. I respect fans and other clubs' opinions, but I honestly feel like the agenda being pushed by them, they don't understand the repercussions they've had. That's why I feel sorry for Wenger again because he was slated for years, week in, week out, and now it's kind of like, oh, Wenger left a dying team. He probably did, bro, but they kind of like kicked him out in the end of the day. And dude, I just feel like I think it's toxic, but as you said, it's kind of like you have to deal with it and
Mm-hmm.
make it the best you can. But I do think there's pros to it. Like, it is entertaining. We love watching it. We love their passion. We love the entertainment, their insights, things they say. But I don't know. I just feel like the Arteta out thing it's probably on like a 7 or 6 scale,
It's a bit
and
too
they've pushed it
premature.
to like 10 or 9. Like, it's drastic now.
I also think, taking the whole Arsenal situation out of it and whatnot, as football fans, I think we're incredibly blessed for the season that is upon us. And I think that for any football fan, that should bring a lot of excitement. I think we have five genuinely extremely competitive competitions, and I think that it's going to be an absolute belter. And also, we have the Champions League draw come Thursday. So, it's always about building on from where you are and keep building up. And I think that we just have to, for our respective teams, for Liverpool and United, just hope that the right decisions are made. And for the likes of Arsenal, that the right decisions are made there too.
Sell your bad players and buy Ben Rama.
Are you talking?
FPL, FPL users will know what I mean. But boys, thanks again, guys, for joining me, having this chat together tonight. It's been really great.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and we'll definitely keep everyone up to date about our thoughts.
If any of our listeners also have any questions that they want to ask, or if they want to be in some way involved in the next podcast, we'll be dropping a link in our Instagram where you can drop in some questions below or like some statements for us to react to. We'd love to hear from you.
And yeah, as Cameron said, with the competitive leagues, enjoy it, have a couple of drinks, be with friends, and just enjoy football while it's on TV. But with that, chat,
Definitely.
I want to thank you again for joining. We're joining one another for another brilliant episode of Musings on 39. Listeners, if you would be so kind to go listen to our previous podcasts and also follow our social medias. Hopefully, this episode might air on YouTube, so you can maybe catch us on there and also catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to your podcast. With that, peace out from the Musings team.
Peace out.
Cheerio.